What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including SummerSlam and Jeopardy, Ronda Rousey rips WWE fans, a fired WWE Women's Superstar is set to join AEW, Ric Flair clashes with Vince McMahon, Bray Wyatt in AEW, Jericho marks NXT again, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at SummerSlam and Jeopardy. Now, topping our news today is a disturbing report that SummerSlam could be forced to move from its scheduled venue in Nevada's Allegiant Stadium to the WWE Thunderdome. I thought we said goodbye to that shit. Now, while the show is not in danger of being cancelled, Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes is exclusively reporting on the concerns about the growing number of COVID cases that could affect social gatherings. While speaking with sources within WWE, I was told that internally WWE expects they will have to return to the Performance Center or another venue for their Thunderdome gimmick within a couple of weeks. Additionally, sources stated to me that the feeling internally is that SummerSlam can or will be cancelled. The feeling is that the company fully expects that they will not be on a road in 4 weeks' time, as there is concern about how they will be able to proceed in a non-contained environment. It's important to remember that talks of cancellation refer to SummerSlam not being held in an arena rather than not taking place. According to Haynes, the people he spoke with expressed concerns that while there won't be COVID-related lockdowns, there will be bans on public gatherings. Still, this is terrible news as the WWE has just resumed touring and will likely incur expenses having to resume shows at the Thunderdome, as well as a loss of revenue from ticket sales. Do you guys think SummerSlam will still take place in Las Vegas? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a fired WWE Women's Superstar is set to join AEW. Now, according to Fightful Select, there are currently a number of plans to call for Ruby Riott to make her way into the promotion, and this would be under the name Ruby Soho. It is believed that a non-compete clause will be up soon, even just before All Out, so this will be a great opportunity for her to debut and shake up AEW's women's division. What do you guys think of Ruby Riott joining AEW? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Ronda Rousey rips WWE fans. And did you guys see Ronda Rousey's latest diatribe on the WWE Universe? Rousey recently tweeted her disgust with the WWE Universe, blaming us for Bray Wyatt being released from the WWE. She tweeted, "I've seen the same fans chanting 'We want Wyatt' last night, chanting 'We want beach balls' over Bray Wyatt performing. If the WWE treated him like he was expendable, it was because you ungrateful idiots did first." Rousey's comments seem more like a reflection of her own apparent bitterness over the WWE Universe turning on her during her run in the company. To blame a small number of fans chanting for Wyatt's departure is illogical, and is countered by the large amount of merchandise that Wyatt sold. Now, whether some think that she's right or wrong, we're all entitled to our opinion, but The Fiend was one of the WWE's most over characters, and his departure had nothing to do with fans and more to do with the WWE's obsession with trimming its budget. Perhaps there's just fans out there that wanted beach balls and Bray Wyatt. Take your L, Rousey. Next up, Flair and Vince McMahon clash. And more news to report on Ric Flair's surprise exit from the WWE, as the Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez has more information on what led to the Nature Boy leaving Titanland. During an episode of the Wrestling Observer Live, Alvarez reported, "I heard that Rick was unhappy with Charlotte's booking. He was upset with her booking, and so the story I heard was that he sent a text message to Vince, and the text message essentially said, 'You either fix it or I'll quit.' Vince, of course, did not fix it, so Ric Flair quit. And while Ric Flair is a legendary figure in the industry, it's hard to imagine Vince McMahon feeling any obligation to Flair, especially in light of Flair jumping to Impact Wrestling and working there from 2010 to 2012. Ric Flair does what is best for himself, as he should, especially in the dog-eat-dog world of professional wrestling, and well, so does Vince McMahon." Alvarez commented on what narrative to believe about Flair's exit, i.e. was he fired or did he actually quit? You can actually, whichever side you're on, Flair side or WWE side, you can basically say that Vince fired him because he refused to kowtow his demands. Or you can look at the Flair side and go, well, his demands were not kowtowed, so he quit. Basically, I think that explains the discrepancy in the story. Did he quit or was he fired? Well, he gave him an ultimatum and Vince was like, forget about it, buddy. Either side, technically I guess, would be correct. At this point, the only real issue is whether Flair is bound by a non-compete clause. As we discussed in our earlier news video, Flair has considerable value as an on-air personality and will have no trouble finding any work. Next up, Chris Jericho responds to Vince McMahon. The WWE's recent investors conference call included comments from Vince McMahon dismissing AEW as any type of competition, comments which made AEW wrestler Chris Jericho recently respond to during an interview with Inside the Ropes' Kenny McIntosh. Well, what else is he gonna say? And to respond to that, we don't see WWE as competition, and it was smart to say that. Jericho, who worked in the WWE for many years, is familiar not only with the wrestling industry, after all he is a 30-year veteran, but with WWE kingpin Vince McMahon. He added, "We're not worried about what the WWE is, and we haven't been since day one. We weren't worried about what NXT did. The whole time with NXT versus AEW war, which ended in a total abysmal failure for NXT, we never once had a TV screen watching what they were doing when we were doing it. We didn't know what segments they were in. We didn't know any of that. Now the WWE way is, you're watching what the competition is doing, and when they were on, we didn't do that. And it was no disrespect, we just didn't care." Jericho pointed out that AEW didn't watch NXT, instead focusing on improving its product. However, did the WWE really watch AEW? As NXT producers have been seen watching AEW. And while NXT has dismissed any reports about their crew watching AEW Dynamite while it was competing against the Black and Gold brand, the Twitter account Diva Insider recently posted a video clip which appears to show NXT producers watching AEW. The account posted the video along with the following message: "WWE producers watching AEW during an NXT filming." The clip reportedly dates back to the Wednesday Night War, and it's unknown whether anyone from NXT keeps up with Dynamite as it airs. Now, this probably isn't a surprise, as the WWE likely wanted to counter-program the show. It wouldn't surprise us if AEW officials watched NXT while it was on too. Next up, Cody Rhodes talks Bray Wyatt in AEW. Is Bray Wyatt coming to AEW? Well, that's a question many fans are asking following Wyatt's shocking WWE release. It's also a question AEW Executive Vice President Cody Rhodes was asked during a talk with the media about AEW's upcoming Homecoming special. When asked if Wyatt might show up in AEW, Rhodes responded, "Bray Wyatt, before he was Bray Wyatt, was my rookie at the second season of NXT. The Rotunda family and the Rhodes family certainly go way back. I can't comment on if I see a spot for him in AEW, but I can tell you he's an incredibly creative individual and an incredibly creative man. To circle back to Bray, I can't comment if he fits with us, but I can say that if he has an ounce of passion for this, he can fit anywhere because he's a special talent." With Wyatt believed to have a 90-day non-compete clause in place, nothing good can come from Cody Rhodes commenting on Wyatt coming to AEW. Even if that is the long-term plan, why would Rhodes or anyone else in AEW spoil a potentially huge surprise? And finally, a rest in peace to a wrestling legend. And last but not least, we're saddened to hear of the loss of Territory Era legend Jody Hamilton, aka The Assassin. The Assassin was one of the top mass heels for the Territory Era, teaming with his brother Larry Hamilton, aka the Missouri Mauler, before donning a hood and teaming with Tommy Renesto as the Assassins. Jody Hamilton wrestled from the 50s until the 80s when a back injury sidelined his career. He wasn't through with the Squared Circle and began a career as a trainer, including running WCW's Power Plant Training Center. There, he trained a number of future greats including Kevin Nash, Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page, and The Big Show. Hamilton was 82, and we extend our condolences to Mr. Hamilton's friends and family during this difficult time. But there you have it guys, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.